The other thing about the choking setup, how many times did they have to explain the scientific basis of what they were doing to, like, justify it's nothing sexual, me popping my shirt off, asking a nun to choke me? Like,
However
Whip
long it
that
took to
shit
fill a
off.
45-minute episode.
It makes me tired. Hello and welcome to another episode of A Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph.
and I'm Elle.
And I'm Al.
And we're back with another Ghost Adventures episode.
I feel like this is my fault.
You know what?
It's Max's fault because Max opened up the doors to me watching this shit again.
It's true. It's true. I started watching it after we did the last episode. I started watching it from the beginning, so sometimes I just have them going on in the background,
Same.
and I'm always like, "This man is such a douche." Like,
And Aaron is always getting thrown into things. It's like that's the one consistent. Is Zach is always stupid, and Aaron is always having to like suffer for his stupidity.
I think this show hits me right in that place where, like, I will do stupid shit for spite, like watch copious things, like I will read entire books out of spite. Like, I hate Zach. Like, I would fight him. I'm wearing my fight milk shirt for this
you know
podcast.
what? This guy is like really juiced in the arms, but I still think you.
I could take him. I could take him. I don't care.
Well, especially not this Zach from this episode, because he was scrawny and had that like 2000s over gelled hair and the pants that were like sagging. Like he looked a hot mess.
And he was scared of a fucking donkey.
I'm more scary than a donkey, goddammit.
Like,
yes, I was like, what? How are you? It was so cute too. The way I would be following it and petting it, probably to the point where it's like, leave me the fuck alone.
I literally was a donkey in this
The
fight.
phrase "never lunge at a donkey's ass" will now forever be burned into my brain after he said that.
Why did you do that to begin with, bro?
Don't. Yeah, this man.
Listen, I love. We all have that in common. We love ghost hunting shit.
Mhm.
I love that stuff, but and you know, I believe in a whole plethora of spirits and encounters that people have had, but I don't know if it's like my age or what. But oh, the other episode that we're gonna do next was different. But this one I was just like, shut up, like shut up. I don't believe you, and like also I didn't hear that, and I feel like he edges himself. You know, like I don't know if he drinks too much coffee or what, but he literally keeps himself on edge. Always.
Yeah, he's like got that like slightly autistic, like super hyper focused, like there's something weird and he gets like very zoned in and nothing can break that focus, and he has no sense of like social cues, and the steroids probably he's taking in the later seasons probably don't help any of it. So,
Oh, so he gets more jacked?
Oh, his arms and like he's like they're like bigger than my head. He's ripped. Like the point that like his shirts like are tight.
So does
around
he think that it's gonna help him? Like fight the ghosts?
Fight the ghosts? Yeah.
If you listen closely, you can hear his shirts screaming for help because they're stretched.
They're so tight.
I have to say, Mike looks like he would be from Sunnyvale Trailer Park, the guy that they approach here, but that what you just told me reminded me of Julian. Like all of this comes back to the Trailer Park Boys always for me.
I love that. I really do love that for you. I really love a full circle moment.
I think the hard part is that like Zach is because the problem is that the show started out as a 1.5 hour like documentary that was only supposed to have a one-shot thing, and it was on the Sci-Fi Channel. And it premiered after like the new episode of Ghost Hunters. Like when Ghost Hunters was still going. Right? Yeah. So Ghost Hunters on Sci-Fi, and then Ghost Adventures also on Sci-Fi, and they're like, well, we can't have two competing things, and so they sold it to Travel Channel. And so I think they have that point of like they're still trying to they were like doing like the documentary and this is real. We have to be better than ghost hunters, and so we have to make and they prove things that are not true, and so we have to like prove everything is real. And
He's just
Zach is
so
just
aggressive.
unhinged. Yeah.
Oh my god. You know what's a better show? Ghost Facers from Supernatural. Those guys.
You know what's
Just
a
good.
better show? Just like I mean his drama. Okay, as an actor, he's actually kind of an amusing like the way that he delivers stuff and the
Hmm.
things that he says. Like I will give him that. I don't want to fight him over that. Like I would actually just like to follow him around. What I really want is for them to hire me to interpret their ghost box stuff though because they
Yes.
don't know what
Yeah.
they're talking about.
No.
No, I know. And
They
I thought
called
of
him a bastard more than once.
yeah, I was thinking about you whenever like whenever they're doing the spirit voice things, I'm like, I bet that's not what it is. Like I'm sorry. In the other episode I feel like there was more like
Yes.
but I'm gonna not talk about that
We'll get there. We'll get
because
there.
Yeah.
that but I really feel like they're stretching
Yeah.
and it just gets to where I like kind of check out. But it's an interesting place, you know.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's bound to have a lot of like energies attached to it. But
Yeah. I think though that like the community hospital thing and especially be like, ooh, people died here. No shit. Like
yeah,
It's a hospital.
yeah, yeah,
the building itself was kind of just spooky though, like just the state of
Yeah.
disrepair that it was in. The way that it like the architecture of it was kind of interesting from the outside. It looked kind of like a bunker. It was really
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool location.
And like the doctor's lounge being right across from the emergency room was an interesting choice. Like some of the like
yeah,
choices of the places that they put the rooms was very
Yeah.
interesting in the way that it was laid out. But and listening to the history from the doctor who was
Hmm.
like born there and like did stuff there, and he's like, I have no idea what's going on, but things are weird. Is always an interesting
yeah.
thing when Zach doesn't interrupt them.
When
Yeah.
they say, "Oh, I don't believe in ghosts, but I've seen a lot of weird shit," and I'm like, that's just
Mhm.
so interesting to me because I mean, there's always like how many because there are people who would like live in a haunted house and literally write off everything that happens. Like,
Mhm.
oh, it was the wind, or oh, that had to be my imagination, or someone's over and they're like, oh, don't mind that. It's an old house, you know, and it could
Yeah.
have been like a ghost literally chucking all their shit off the counters. And the doctor seemed like one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like I said, with these older episodes, when you still had Nick, who was the skeptic, there was a lot less of things being like stretched super far. But then once Nick left because he couldn't stand Zach anymore, then Zach just had free reign to do whatever he wanted because Aaron won't fight him on anything. Aaron's just too nice
He kind
and
of looked like that.
won't fight Zach on anything that he does. And so Zach just like went in full chaos mode of everything. Everything is a ghost. The spirit box is everything, and it's what I want to hear. And but
I
having
think
that skeptic energy at the beginning helped because it kind of kept things a little bit more grounded, but Nick didn't stay very long.
I don't blame him.
I
No.
think though that there's like one thing between being a skeptic, like to some extent, skeptics can get as fucking annoying as the nerds that are like
Mhm.
way up its ass. Like there's got to be like something, and also like what's interesting about these types of things is how you can twist them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a ghost. Maybe this is something that there's like some kind of residual energy that affects people and makes them think these. Actually, John Keel in the Mothman prophecies talks about how some of these UFOs and things could be tulpas that were left behind from a people before who we are, before the human race became a thing, like a
Mhm.
different type of conscious humanoid, which, Lasher tells us
We don't have
that
to talk about
there were other, it reminds us that there were other humanoids that were evolving at the same time as man. There's so many fucking fascinating ways you can go. You can head fuck yourself so many different ways,
Mhm.
but instead everything's a demon. And that to me is some Ed and Lorraine Warren bullshit, and that puts up like alarm bells for me. And
Yeah.
that's my problem with Zach Baggins really is like I really wish you would lean into the interesting things and the storytelling ways because you can do that even with a reality show. Especially they have
Yeah.
editorial control. Like I think maybe it was
yeah.
you, Al, that told me that
They do. So
Oh,
they record everything. They keep all of the data. Zach used to edit everything, and now Billy does, who is like in the later seasons, he's the one that does all of the like the tech and stuff. So Billy edits everything. So it's all done remotely from like Zach's house in Las Vegas. So everything that you see, all of the effects, what they pull up, all of it is done by Billy and Zach. They have creative control over everything, and they just send it into Travel Channel because Destination Fear, which is my favorite ghost hunting show of all time, it's Dakota, who is the camera guy in the Post Malone episode, the episode later. He broke off and did his own show with his friends, and he said that after, because they had their own thing on Travel Channel for like 4 seasons, then it got canceled, and so they're doing things on YouTube now, but they basically let them keep. He's like, I own all of the footage, it's mine, I do all the editing, we do have creative control over all of it. So I mean, honestly, probably Mountain Monsters is probably pretty the same. Buck is probably like a technological genius and is the one that's like putting all the episodes together, but anything that we see is what Zach wants us to see. So
There's just so many good storytelling opportunities you're
mhm.
not taking,
Right.
Zach.
But that's just not his MO. His
Right.
MO is ripping his shirt off and going, touch me.
To show off
Okay.
his awful tattoos.
How can I offend
Oh
the
my
spirit
god,
of dinner and
that
get
thing
them
is
to
so ugly.
It's so ugly. All of his tattoos are so ugly.
Like,
It's
can
really
you
fucking ugly. And I'm like, then if the nun's gonna choke you over that tattoo, it's not because it's offensive, it's because it's ugly as fuck.
ugly? Like, get sexy Satan. If I'm gonna get a demon tattoo, I'm getting that tattoo of like that statue
With the
that
serpent dick.
well that too, but like the one there was like this statue that this guy made for the church of Lucifer that was too hot, and so the church told him he had to make it uglier.
Yeah, but
Yes,
that's
I've
silly
seen, yeah.
because Lucifer's a hottie. Like everybody knows that.
I mean,
Sorry,
why
Mom.
would it any other? Because like demons or angels in the mythology, if we're looking at the mythology,
Mhm.
demons or angels, they can present themselves to you however they want. And why wouldn't they present themselves as hotties? If I'm gonna get a tattooed, if I'm gonna tattoo something on my body, it's gonna be hot.
I would absolutely get a sexy Mothman pinup tattoo.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes,
I want Mothman
100%.
on the stripper pole.
And I mean, maybe the thing that's pegging him is the ghost nun, so maybe.
I mean, it really might. Who's to say? We don't know him. Who's to say some of these things haven't followed him home? And
But who's to say he hasn't like paranormally like breadcrumbed them to his house?
I mean, the museum.
Yeah.
He has that whole ass museum that, you know, is just full of all the things.
You know, we
And
talked about don't ever lunge at a donkey's ass, but what about crazy mean nuns want to get busy and choke me? That is a direct quote.
there was Zach was very on his quote game.
he was also very presumptuous. Like, why should the nuns want you?
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you have an ugly tattoo, bitch. Maybe they want to choke somebody that has a hot tattoo.
With his
Right,
with his
because,
overgelled
you know,
hair.
and
Mhm.
maybe that pisses him off. Like, why are you not choking me? I'm chokeable. The fuck?
Yeah, he definitely has some sort of like weird, like I need them to all choke me, and I need them to like the your mom jokes that the spirit box says to him all the time. It's like, man's horny
Yes.
and nobody wants him. That's the problem.
The
Yeah,
other thing
so-
about the choking setup, how many times did they have to explain the scientific basis of what they were doing to like justify it's nothing sexual, me popping my shirt off, asking a nun to choke me? Like
However
Whip
long it
that
took to
shit
fill a
off.
45-minute episode.
It makes me tired. Try something else. You know what I mean?
and it tells him not to go in the bathroom. Did somebody lay a ghost shit in the bathroom before?
Why?
Is that
Why
why?
can't I go in the bathroom? Why? And they get a lot of. I like that. I know that he has editorial control because then that means that he wants all of those close-ups of him with his mouth open,
Mhm.
with like knife ones, like that. What you haven't spooky. That's the scariest thing.
Yeah.
If I run into that, shit in my pants.
I think this is another episode where he's trying to seduce a ghost.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
like just get a Ouija board like normal people and do it somewhere else where I don't have to watch.
I don't know. The Ouija board comes in once Jay joins the crew. They do Ouija boards all over the place in the later episodes.
I was just kidding. I don't want them to do that. That's a bit too much. Leaving cracked doors open all over the place.
Well,
Podcast cat.
aw.
Yay!
Kitty! Podcast cat.
Podcast
Aw.
cat.
Oh,
Shucks.
hello.
Do you have anything to say about Zach Baggins?
How is he wearing like 5 layers of clothing in Texas, for Christ's sake? Like,
Always wearing so many layers of clothes.
His like system may be fucked up. Like he I don't know. There's stuff wrong with him.
Yes. Very much so.
That's the sum of that.
Yeah.
oh, how about the unexplained female moan? That was definitely a
The-
cat.
that was definitely
It was
cat.
a cat. That's not a person sound.
Unexplained, okay?
And it's always a moan.
Yeah.
It's always a moan.
They do that. He's like, yeah, do it again.
Also, he has this thing where there's like a few motes of dust or something, and he's like, no, dust can only be like a snowstorm. And I'm like, well, then I guess I'm haunted all the time, bitch, because there's always dust flying past the camera in here too.
Yeah.
What scientist told him that about the dust? Oh, wait, nothing. They voted on
Yes.
it.
It's just like the other stuff. It's like okay, the thing is I don't care. I'm not taking this show seriously. I'm not taking
No.
this as like unequivocal proof that there's an afterlife or anything like that. But like be consistent with something so that when you're telling me a story, it doesn't take me out of it where I'm like, you're fucking stupid, dude. Like I just don't want to have to fight you all the time. That's the problem.
Yeah, this is not the show for you, babes.
No. No. It's yeah, and the amounts of spinoffs and the things that I think the ones that are the most annoying are the ones where they're sitting down and doing commentary of their own episodes. Because then you have Zach talking over himself, telling you all of the things that were going on in the episode in his private home theater in his large mansion in Las Vegas.
No, thank you. Oh!
There's three or four seasons of that because they had to do something when COVID was happening. Because you can't go without ghost adventures. Like, you just can't do it.
I'm still gonna keep it on in the background.
Yeah. I mean, I like ghost hunting shows. I like being mad at dumbasses. Like I don't really have a problem with it. It's just like I'm not going to take it seriously.
Of
Also,
all of the ones that are out there, this is like this and the Dead Files show are the two that are like, these are the dumbest things I've ever seen in my life. Dead Files is awful. Like, if you
I
think
haven't
Zach is
watched it.
bad, if you think Zach is bad, she's worse. She's a medium, and they make her, what the whole point is, they make him go into the house and she has to like read the house and know nothing about it. And then they have a retired NYPD homicide detective come in and do research, and they meet together with the family afterward and compare evidence. And it's like her just like pulling like things out of thin air and trying to make people like sad and scared and like selling their house and using dead family members for things. She's awful because she has the medium powers, but she has Zach's personality.
I think Zach fancies himself a medium a little bit though, because
I think he does.
95% of his fucking evidence is that I
Mhm.
felt sick. Bitch,
Yeah.
you're in
Okay.
an unwholesome atmosphere, first of all.
Yes.
With asthma.
Yeah. I think he absolutely has no sensitivity whatsoever, like spiritual sensitivity. I don't think he has that.
Well,
I
and
think he wants it so bad.
like these people, like the people that they interviewed in the basement, that they're like, oh, we got scratched and welted up. Bitch, that's a normal day for me. I go out and do stuff in the world. I scratch and welt up. That's called having allergies and chronic
Yep.
hives.
In an unclean basement.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's just old as fuck.
I
Oh,
brush up against something in there, my entire arm is gonna be hives. Like it's just what? Like that's not ghostly. It's not spooky, dude.
I'm gonna reiterate this exact point in the next episode.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
like I also thought it was funny with they encountered the roughnecks out there.
Roughneck. Oh my god! And he was like, "Oh, a roughneck over there, but a demon hunter over
Yeah,
here."
I was like, really, bitch?
Cringe.
I can
Cringe.
take you, okay? And I'm sure that guy can take you, okay?
Yeah, that's why they were scared of him. Oh no. The
And
guy.
then he walk up to the lady's door, knocks on it. Crystal? No, it's Bristol. What now? He cannot remember people's names to save his life. She was just
I mean,
like, why are you
same, but
here?
It'd be like that sometimes.
I did love her face when he did say the crazy mean nuns line because she was standing next to him and she was like,
Hello?
girl.
What the fuck? Don't come to my door talking about shit.
Right.
Get out of here. Shoot, I would have got my broom. Get out of here. Take your cameras and go.
It was definitely an episode. Those older episodes are always just so wild to watch. Watching like these older episodes and like the original like Bobby Mackey's Music World episode and like some of the
Yeah.
old school where it's like this is just unhinged chaos. This was the Wild West of when Travel Channel started getting into the paranormal series and it was just whatever people wanted to do. And it was a time back when sci-fi was SYFY. Like,
Yes, the rebrand.
SYFY. I was so like, it was fine. It was really fine.
it was it's a time capsule for sure. But it's yeah. Zach is whatever this is.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about him again. Is there anything else?
We'll probably come back to Ghost Adventures a few times over the
I feel.
long-term life of this podcast. So
Zach is something else. I feel bad for Aaron.
yeah, I'm gonna give Zach a half of a donkey's butt. A donkey's
I'm gonna
ass.
give Zach my foot up his butt.
Not even the nuns want to choke him.
No. The
Saying,
nuns pass. I pass.
obviously, there's something wrong with you. If the nuns won't choke you.
Because heavens knows, we all know that's what they do. Like
Right.
that's what they're
Sounds like very
notorious for doing.
Right. You can find more Zach bashing on other episodes and other things on the interwebs at ghostmagazine.site or on Twitter at JATM Podcast. You can find me on Twitter at WitchXPudding.
And you can find me at Nocturnical.
And you can find me at Maybe Mockingbird.
Okay, bye.